Paracruise. I'm Paradomics, and welcome back to the testimony of Trixie Glimmer. So, in the last video, we met some familiar characters and one new character, which was Nikita. And we're playing as the character named Trixie, who I'm not sure if is a girl or a boy. Trixie was trying to grow boobs, so I think Trixie's a girl. I don't know. Again, we've never seen in another person's perspective and how they pronounce what's the pronouns of Trixie. So I'm just gonna keep calling Trixie Trixie, just to stay on the neutral side of the gender. So anyways, here we are after talking to La Rose, the French La Rose. Yeah, she told us that there's a house of Squirrel Girl's house where the police just stopped investigating or some shit. But yeah, here we go. La Rose was right. The police has left their investigation unfinished and just ditched the evidence into a couple of boxes. Fortunately, the summer had been a dry one, and everything seemed to be in good condition. I peered through one of the cottage's window. It was definitely deserted. It was probably a pretty nice place when it looked after. I could see the occasional bit of half-eaten food laying around the floor makes a mess of a otherwise cozy middle-class countryside retreat. I started sorting through the boxes labeled Kitchen 1. Most of it seemed to be old bits of snacks, packaging, and half-eaten food. Gross. Fortunately, most of it was so artificial it wasn't capable of molding. Interestingly, a DVD copy of Jenny Jason Archery Training Time for the Game Machine 100 also had a large bite taken out of it, and the toaster seems to have lick marks on the grill. Oh! So Squirrel Girl's parents were kidnapped by the sheep cult. Oh! Because that would make sense. Because sheeps usually just eat whatever they see. I mean, that's the stereotypical joke of a sheep, or that's what people keep joking around, that sheep will eat just about anything. But yeah, so their parents were missing because of the sheep cults. I see. That's why they needed, like, the Squirrel Girl. Oh, interesting. An entire box of sugar acorns seems to have been emptied into the box, coating everything with thin layer of nutritionless dust. Someone had been very hungry. The next box, Kitchen 2, only had a couple of gas canister inside. I guess they were for the cottage stove. But I don't think Daffodil Lane had much of a way of artificial infrastructures. The last box labeled Kids Room contained the only interesting stuff. My eyes went straight towards some small game console and a selection of video games. I spotted one of my favorites, Gun Attack 2. Oh hey, this kid is one of those little fuckers who always screamed abuse when I tried to play that game online. Actually, I probably shouldn't refer to possibly missing kid as a little fucker. That feels a little wrong. So the canonic ending was we actually didn't save Squirrel Girl? Because again, there was multiple ending in Parsnip. There was the kill everyone ending. We didn't actually purposely kill them. Parsnip accidentally killed them. They actually died because of the cake Parsnip gave, but he wasn't really planning to kill them. I was. And there was the you kill the cult leader and Squirrel Girl escapes ending, or you eat the cake but the cult leader kills Squirrel Girl and then rule the world. The last part was the real one? Or I don't know, maybe Squirrel Girl escaped and then that's it, she just ran away. There were more sweet wrappers, though the kid had clearly diversified their diet to eating crisp and special occasion. This kid doesn't seem to be the type to collect old play script. I doubt it would be here. In fact, I don't think there's a single word in this box that isn't a brand name. As I said this, I realized I was wrong. There were some obvious words in the box, and I don't know how I missed them before. A small paper booklet scrawled in faded felt tip writing. Read, "There's a monster in the wood near the woods." Underneath the crude scribbled vaguely resembling a crouching figure of a woolly thick body, 4 eyes, and some kind of imaginary monster. Or maybe a wool suitor, I thought. Oh shit, That's ominous. The handwriting was childlike and shaky. It could have been more than a month old. It was probably written as a part of some silly games, I thought, but that didn't stop it from filling with dread. What was the monster? I realized the message was written in front of a small scrap paper booklet. It looked like it had been written and illustrated by the kid. Squirrel Warrior Princess Adventure. Squirrel Warrior Princess was on an adventure to save the Squirrel Princess Dragon. She went through the hills and there was a monster shaped like a woolly person. Squirrel Warrior Princess shot him with a bow and arrow and won. That is what you get if you were my enemy, said the Squirrel Warrior Princess. Said Squirrel. What? If you're my enemy, said what? She drove her big car, fast and reached Castle Grimskull. I'm here to save you, Squirrel Princess Dragon, said Squirrel Warrior Princess. She went through the castle and used her gun to shoot the bad enemies and went up to the castle. No one can defeat me. I am the strongest warrior, I said. A skeleton popped out, but the Squirrel Warrior Princess punched it and it fell down and cried, and I laughed at it. That was really brave. Thank you for saving me, said Squirrel Princess Dragon. She flapped her dragon wings. She has dragon wings and can breathe fire, but she's a squirrel. They played video games together and won single player of Medallion of Honor the end. Inspiring. I decided it was best to leave before I left much more incriminating DNA on everything. I felt pretty sure I wasn't going to find the play amongst that junk, and I wasn't breaking into what was technically still a crime scene on Nikita's behalf, so I headed down the lane to the last cottage. I strolled past the sheep field. The silly creatures were absent-mindedly chewing on grass, and sheep are apt to do. It looked really refreshing and simple life. The field was overshadowed by a large tree. Really? I don't see it. I mean, I see the shadow, but I don't see the tree. There seemed to be a few shiny pieces of jewelry trapped high up in the branches. Maybe it's one of La Rosa's art pieces? A rag nest was perched high near the top. It looked deserted. This was probably where that fucked up bird La Rose had mentioned lived. Oh, shit. Yeah, this one. Ah. The cottage at the end of the daffodil was a bleak building. The window and the door was all boarded up, and its interior was dark, and the entire building was had an uneasy aura around it. Compared to its scenic surrounding, this place was a septic sewer. I remember the child's creepy message. If there was anywhere near the woods a monster would live, it would be here. Jesus. Oh, I like that. The window of Squirrel Girl's house has has a nut on it. And this one's like acorn. And this one's like a star. It's for satanic rituals. Wasn't a pentagon not a star, though? I was almost relieved to realize I had no way of getting the boarded door open. Oh no, there's no way I can get into this cottage. I'm so weak and brittle. I felt a little cowardly, so I went out of my way to half-heartedly tug on a piece of planks. Fortunately, I've never been strong, and estrogen has further reduced my ability to pull planks off things. Well, that was conclusive. I couldn't possibly get this off with my weak little arms. I almost used this as an excuse to get out of Nikita's busy work. Without her help, I knew I'd failed my coursework. I wasn't going home a failure. No, don't do this! I will forever regret not taking the excuse. I should get a crowbar or something. I think that's how people get planks off things, like games and stuff. I'll head to town. I'm sure I can find some boring old person shop that sells tools there. I dusted off my hands and started to hike to town, somewhat regretting never learning to ride a bike. The monster near the wood would have to wait. Oh. It was a long way back to town. Still, the exercise was probably good for me. I hadn't spent much time in town since moving to Blue Hills. It's too loud and busy for me. I was looking for a tool shop and or something when I noticed a small shop called Heidi's? A window with a big poster, all crowbars, half price. That was convenient for sure. Oh no, I don't trust Azrael? Azrael, is that you? Oh no! Wait, why is there feathers in the snack bar? Did somebody shove a crow up that snack bar? Oh jeez. Hello? Is anyone here? Nothing. There was a door behind the counter, slightly ajar. I guess it led to an office or something. Maybe the owner's in there? Peek through the door! Curiosity kills the cat! But I'm a mouse! I figured I'd peek through the door. The shopkeeper hadn't responded when I called, so I was worried. They'd had an accident or something. I leaned to the side a little, squinting into the dark room. My eyesight's really bad, so I just saw a slightly dark room, predictable. Door swung open. Ah! Oh shit! A hyena stepped through and looked annoyed with my spying. Either her spots were dyed red, or she was splattered blood. I assume this must have been Heidi. What are you peeping at, missy? Okay, I'm a girl. She seemed mad. This wasn't the fantastic customer service I expect from a shop. Not that I'm the one to complain about poor customer service. I'm not a cop. Oh, well, sorry. I thought you were dead, or dead or something. You didn't say anything when I called. Uh-huh. I didn't hear you when you called. Fair enough. She seemed to have calmed down and leant on the counter. Welcome to Heidi's. How may I help you today? That only looked and sounded extremely forced. Welcome to Heidi's. How may I help you today? Oh, gracious customer. I saw the posters for crowbar. Can I get one? It was an exceptionally fake laugh. I was a little worried I was being mocked. Sorry, kid. I sold it a few hours ago. Unlucky. I'd overstocked. Type an extra 3 zeros into the supplier site. Ended up with 2,000 of the things. I had to start selling them off dirt cheap, but the suppliers just bought them all back. Guess they wanted to resell them. Still, I made a good profit on it. Those suckers. She paused for a moment, doubt flashing across her face. She started counting her fingers, and her grin turned into a frown. She recounted, then recounted. And noticed that she's the one who got scammed. Because she bought it for a specific price and then sold it in a smaller price. So they bought it all back. Meaning they didn't lose as much as she did. Those fuckers! I made a 4,000 loss! Oh, for €1? Mr. Crowbar's fucking dead. She seemed to remember I was there. Anyway, you want a crowbar, right? What for? You don't look like a DIY type. No offense. That was a little offensive. Although admittedly very true. I need to break a door open. I realized that probably sounded pretty suspicious, so I tried to defuse the situation. I'm not a burglar. It's my door. Yes, my door. A strange mix of resignation and confusion appeared in her face. You accidentally boarded up your own door? I don't know. I mean, I was breaking into an admitted blamed drunken student antics. I mean, she seems to be a reasonable person who agrees with bad shit, so let's go with this. Okay, I'm breaking into a house, but it's abandoned. It's urban exploration. Albeit, in this case, very rural. Oh, sweet! I don't give a fuck about that. I just don't want to end up complicit into your breaking into someone's house and kicking them to death. I was relieved she was going to let me have a crowbar, also slightly offended that I apparently looked like a very inefficient murderer. Heidi dashed through the door behind the counter and quickly reappeared with a crowbar. This is one of my personal crowbars, and I need my others. So if you somehow break it, don't come begging for a replacement. I don't have offer warranties. That's 15 euros. I rooted through my pocket and realized I'd forgotten my wallet! No! All I had was 3 euros in coins and a Demon trading card, which was a little odd since I don't even collect those. I kind of forgot my money. You forgot you needed money to pay for things at shops? Yeah, I guess. Do you accept trading cards? She didn't really look amused. She drummed her fingers in the counter for a moment. Okay, whatever. What if you owe me a favor? I hope this wasn't going to be a weird sex thing. It's not a weird sex thing. Don't make that face, pervert. I suddenly resented my natural pervy face. I wasn't thinking that. What was it that you want? Nothing crazy. Just helping me sort some extra stock. Usually, I'd have to do it myself, but 2 hands are better than 1, right? Of course, you'll have to sign an NDA. Or not. What do I care? I have a taser. It doesn't sound very exciting, but I need a crowbar, so I didn't have much choice. Well, as long as it's just a small and legal. Another unconvincing laugh. I think it was supposed to sound friendly. Yeah, it's fine. It's small. It's illegal. Legal. Did you just try to fake a reassuring laugh? Fuck off! It was real. Give me your number so I can get a hold of you. I gave her my number. I was hoping I wouldn't end up crossing any borders with 5 kilos of counterfeit electronics hidden within my clothes, because I knew I'd be too awkward to say no to that. I'll give you a call when I need you. I prefer it to texting. Easier to shout. And don't try to get away for free. I have a taser. She puts her hands out for a handshake. I guess she wanted to seal the deal. I limply shook it with my puny little arms. Sure. Thanks for the crowbar. I guess I'll see you soon. Okay. You know, why can't I just walk all the way to school, get my wallet, and then come back here and buy a crowbar? I don't get it. I left the shop with a crowbar, reflecting on how I seem to operate entirely on favor-based system these days. Oh well, I thought. It was cheap. I was pretty hungry. As I walked through town, my eyes were drawn to a small shop called Greg's Bakery. The shop had a charmingly decorated exterior, albeit it was a little cutesy for my taste. I gazed on the food on display in the window, and I'm pretty sure I drooled on myself. It looked really good. I really need some sugar. Oh hey, I have sugar! Hey, Greg! Hi! Welcome to Greg's Bakery. I'm Greg, and this is my bakery. Greg has a sharp fangs like a bat, which is nice. Though obviously that isn't really important. Oh, hey, I'm here to eat cakes. Do you sell cakes? I don't know why I asked that. I knew that they sold cakes. I'd just been drooling all over their display. Oh, sure, we do. I make them all fresh every day. Do any catch your eye? If you decide you want a cake, I have plenty of other pastries and treats for you. An ice bun, a pizza slice, a donut, vegetable rolls, a bag of sprinkles. The choice is yours. They seem nice, albeit slightly hyperactive. I kinda sucked at buying food, especially when there's so much choice, so I was glad to hear the door was loudly opened behind me and distracted Greg. Hey, Belle! Belle! The usual? You betcha, huh? How's work going? Great, thanks. It's been quite a day so far, but I have two customers at once. Exciting, huh? What was it you want me to get you? They were looking at me, and I still hadn't decided on what I want. Just buy the cheapest thing. You only have €3, Trixie. Come on. I've been cut for another milk delivery route. Can you believe it? What? No way. Another one? How come? The distraction gave me a chance to pick something. My eyes scanned across the cake, desperately trying to choose one. My old manager left a few weeks back, and the new one is, semi-competent? He noticed it was taking me an entire day to do my morning run, and that they were paying me to deliver to empty buildings. I was like, no way, my contract says I have to, but he read my contract and it doesn't. The contract excuse I had worked flawlessly for me for 4 years, so I had no backup plan. So yep, I'm delivering to North Acres since they refused to let us deliver via drone like we do everywhere else now. I'm almost obsolete. Good jobs, those NIMBYs are keeping me in a job for a little longer. Oh no! North Acres? I heard bad things about that place. They aren't too keen on taking outsiders. What a sucky situation. Ah, heck. Have your food on me. They placed Belle's order on the counter and canceled the payment. 2 large coffees and 4 vegetable sausage rolls. A pretty impressive lunch. Ah, you're too kind, huh? I'll make it up to you. North Acre ain't so bad. I just ignore the locals and don't hang around. I think she must have noticed me staring at the cake slack-jawed. Oops, sorry about pushing in, hun. I'm not used to there other being people here. It's pretty quiet most days. Oh no, I'm sorry, I got distracted. What was that you wanted? I remember turning to look at them with wide eyes in fear. Donut. It is cheaper than a cake. I wanted a donut but somehow got hurt in my own confusion and messed up. I kicked. The only time I didn't save when there was a choice was this. I jabbed my finger meekly at a random cupcake. 1 triple chocolate muffin coming right up. This wasn't going as planned. They picked the muffin with a tong and slid it in a paper bag. Any other cakes, drinks, or savories? A cheese bake, maybe? I'll get another muffin, please? Great choice! Belle was looking at me, munching one of her rolls. She seemed amused at my inability to buy cakes. I don't think I've seen you around here before. What's your name, hun? Excuse me. Oh, I'm Trixie Glimmer. I moved here a few months back, and I don't get out much. Nice to meet you, Trixie. The name's Belle. She stepped forward with her arms outstretched, and I shook her hoof. It was really clunky and awkward since she didn't have fingers. I hope this ain't too presumptuous, but if you're looking to make some friends here, you're always welcome to come down to Antique Mouse. The bar's just around the corner. It's always nice to make some new pals, you know? Especially if you're new in the area. I sometimes go there with Belle, but I've been too busy with the bakeries recently. Everyone there's super nice, very gay too, so you can just be yourself. You mean happy? Or homosexual? Because I'm fine with either way. I guess we're lucky to live in a queerest town. Okay. Homosexuals. I mean, not officially sure, but heck, you try finding someone here who isn't queer. Isn't that a bad thing to say now? Isn't it like the LGBTQ, the Q is no longer the word queer, but it's actually questioning? I'm confused with that one. They had a point. Everyone I met here was pretty fucking gay. You have to say it like that, though. Oh, thanks for the invite. I'm not too good with social stuff, though. That's fair. You're always welcome to come along, though, huh? Just thought it'd be nice to let you know there's somewhere you can go if you need, you know. I realized I was getting late. I still had to walk back to the cottage. Crap, I gotta go. Sorry. I dropped some coins on the counter and I ran out of the bakery. I hope I paid enough. No, you only had €3. How was that enough? I heard the pair say bye behind me. They both seemed kind of nice, albeit a little scary. What? Oh shit, here we go again. I had to take some sort of break to recover from gorging about 5,000 calories of muffin, but I eventually reached the abandoned cottage at the end of the daffodil lane. I managed to pry the front door open with a crowbar, which was tough given my complete lack of muscle mass. Regardless, I got the door open and I tossed the crowbar away. My weak little arms couldn't carry it anymore. Without waiting around, I stepped into a dingy portal. Oh, fuck this. I do not trust any of this! It's dirty! It's messy! Well, not really messy. But there's a table there and I don't trust it! It's an evil table! It's ready to murder me. It has a knife. Watch out! It's got a gun! I was immediately hit by a wall of stale air and decay. Ugh! This place is disgusting! I flicked my torch on and I finally realized it had no batteries. Frustrated, I chucked it on the floor. Litter bug. I had to rely on my eyesight, which had rapidly been deteriorating since I started staying up till 5 a.m., using my laptop screen as my only source of light. Not that it was great to begin with, given my condition. The building was dim and a few shafts of light piercing the board window, but looked like a basement was slightly ajar. A cold and unpleasant stench seemed to be crawled from it. I wanted to spend a little time in this place as possible. I decided to take a look around the ground floor before heading downstairs. I stepped into what seemed to be the kitchen. Water dripped from the wooden ceiling into the sink, which was close to overflowing. The water was dark and still. A few tops of wool floated on the surface and stained a dirty brown. A gross smell seeped through the room from the pantry. I carefully pried it open and was relieved to not find any dead bodies. Instead, I found a small garden worth of decomposing grass metal into a pool of green, frothy liquid. Oh, gross, what? Who would keep a grass in their pantry? I poked around the pantry, trying to uncover anything else that might have been hidden. At the very back, buried under some of the decaying grass, I found a tin of pineapple rings. The best before date was over 2 decades ago. The front depicted a happy pineapple mascot. Eat me, he said. Sorry, Mr. Happy Pineapple Abomination, but I don't think so. Besides, I don't have a can opener. The bedroom was evidently plainly decorated years ago, but was now completely derelict. A bookshelf stood against one of the walls, but it was almost completely empty. The book remaining were Manners for Girls and Seven Plants I Saw, an adventure story. Oh, Seven Plants I Saw, an adventure story. I decided not to read them. Like the kitchen, the window here had been boarded up, though I've noticed the planks seemed to have been taken from the bed's frames, given the mattress slumped on the floor. A pile of tools on the floor looked like the likely culprits for the renovation for this place window. I noted one of the tools was a sturdy crowbar. Ugh. I went all that trouble getting a crowbar when I could have just broken in here and got one for free. The tools looked old, but judging their relative cleanliness, appeared to have been recently used. Next to the bed was a small dresser, on top of that, a picture frame. I wiped the dust, and the photograph revealed a woman, probably in her 40s. The photograph itself had an old-fashioned faded into it, and her hair looked very 80s. I guess this lady must have lived here before abandoning the cottage. It doesn't look like she properly packed when she left, though, given that a load of her stuff seems to be here. There was a loud groan from upstairs, the settling of the cottage timber frame, I told myself. Regardless, it gave me the scare. You know that's a groaning? That was no groan! That was some fucked up shit! Oh, God. This place is really has me really on edge. Let's hurry this up. The bathroom was broken and one of the boards seemed to have fallen off. A black feather was snagged in one of the nails still left in the frame. The water tank was probably meant to be above the toilet had fallen down, literally on the floor with smashed ceramic shards and leaving a moldy damp patch spreading from the toilet gutted remains. The bottom few inches of the bathtub were stained brown, as if it had been full of rancid water for some time before being emptied. The plug hole was matted with wool, almost like spider web. Ugh, this is nasty. What's wrong with this place? No wonder it smells. I was cut off as the house groaned as if settling. The only only then did I realize how weak the floor seemed to be in this room. I stepped back. I had no intention of falling through into whatever was waited for me in the basement. I returned to the living room where I first entered the house. I hadn't really looked around when I first got here. I was totally trashed. The furniture was a mess. The floor was covered in junk, and some water appeared to have dripped down from the attic onto the sofa, which was coated in white mold. What looked like bloodstain on the floor and swept into the musty sofas could have been more than a month old. Ugh, this isn't good. Hopefully someone just had a minor accident, which made them lose about 4 liters of blood. It's old though. I'm sure any murderer who lived here would have left ages ago. The smell probably drove them off. I stepped a little further into the room and almost tripped on something. A video game? Cartridges. Yeah, so the canonic ending, we didn't really save Squirrel Girl. We just ate the cake. That's it. And judging how uh Belle LaRose is still alive, that means we didn't share the cake either. We just ate the cake. It didn't look as dusty and decrepit as the rest of the house, and definitely wasn't old enough to be from the previous owners. Some brown hair and white wool blocked the pins, and image print in front of was scratched but readable. Gunshoot floor. Nice. Really enjoyed Gunfoot 3. Okay. So I am gonna save and end the video here. This is getting pretty deep. We're going to the hardest, the darkest part of it, the part that we're gonna lose our sanity. Ah! But I don't really know though. I feel like they're not gonna do that typical in your face jump scare kind of visual novel. This will just be just to keep it creepy. But anyways, yeah, this is a very interesting game. It's getting even more interesting so far. I can't believe though that I'm playing as another broke character. Why is it with these visual novels you start off broke or you don't have money at all? Like that's so messed up. But anyways, that's gonna end the video here. We're gonna continue this on in the next video. Probably gonna be the last one. I don't know. I don't know how long this game's gonna be, but if it's gonna give you multiple choices, then I bet it's gonna be short. But who knows? Anyways, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, thumbs up the like button to death. Become a parkour today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
When the light is running low and the shadows start to grow,
Is it this crow? Is the crow talking to me?
you know seem like fantasy. There's a light inside your soul that's still shining in the cold with the truth, the promise in our heart.
Wow, you guys really have a better view.
I